If you carry a 00 number, it means you're licensed to kill, not get killed. And another thing, since I've been head of MI7, there's been a 40% drop in 00 operative casualties, and I want it to stay that way.
It would be hard to argue that Bernard Lee is still not considered the best M of all time.
I'm well aware of your challenge, 007. The license to kill is useless unless one can set up the target. I'll find you a more suitable assignment, that's all.
So under the circumstances...
That's all.
Bernard Lee will always be my M. The Royal Academy of Dramatic Art trained actor brought Ian Fleming's Miles Mesavie to life, starting in 1962's Dr. No and spanning a career of 11 films with the James Bond franchise in 1979's Moonraker. Bernard Lee is many people's favourite M to this day. Casting potentials for James Bond films will always be a hot topic. It's something that James Bond fans take very seriously.
This damn thing could blow up into a full-scale war.
Judi Dench, who played M from 1995's GoldenEye up to 2012's Skyfall, would be considered as many people's favourite M. And considering the real-life M was a female at the time, it made sense. Especially if you grew up in that time period of GoldenEye right through to Skyfall in 2012. Dench made an incredible first impression as M in GoldenEye.
You don't like me, Bond. You don't like my methods. You think I'm an accountant. A bean counter, more interested in my numbers and your instincts.
The thought had occurred to me.
Good. Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War. Whose boyish charms they wasted on me obviously appeal to that young woman I sent out to evaluate you.
Point taken.
Not quite, 007. If you think for one moment I don't have the balls to send a man out to die, your instincts are dead wrong.
And then there's universally unpopular choices, like Edward Fox, who played M in 1983's Never Say Never Again. But Fox is a prestigious and talented actor, but it would seem that the acting choices he made as M would seem wrong. M needs to have a father-like quality to not only show faith in James Bond, but to keep him in check.
Not too shabby, sir. The dead 007 dead. You should have studied the plot more carefully.
And then there is Robert Brown, who played the role of M in 1983's Octopussy to Timothy Dalton's last film in 1989, Licence to Kill. And though thematically it makes so much sense to have cast Robert Brown as M, considering he played Admiral Hargreaves in The Spy Who Loved Me, I could just never warm to him.
Yes, I've read Saunders' report. You jeopardized the entire mission to avoid shooting a beautiful girl.
Not exactly, sir. I had to make a split-second decision. It was instinct.
I'll recall 008 from Hong Kong. He can do it. He doesn't know Pushkin. He follows orders, not instincts. You can take a fortnight's leave.
I owe it to Leiter. He's put his life on the line for me many times.
Oh, spare me this sentimental rubbish. He knew the risks.
And his wife?
This private vendetta of yours could easily compromise Her Majesty's government.
And once Dame Judi Dench was out the door as M, in came Ralph Fiennes taking over the role as Gareth Mallory, or as we commonly know him to be named, as M, and it was an intense performance.
Has this desk got bigger? Or have you got smaller?
I can't pretend there weren't some sorry faces when you left us, Bond. But you fell so far off the grid that we thought you must be dead.
And in my opinion, I think Ralph Fiennes brought back that Bernard Lee style M, and of course a bit of Robert Brown. I love the interaction that we got between Ralph Fiennes' M and Daniel Craig's James Bond. It was kind of going back to the days of Lazenby with Lee, Sean Connery with Bernard Lee as well.
It's a shame that you haven't lost your touch. We wouldn't be in this mess.
This is your mess.
But now it looks like Ralph Fiennes will no longer play M, and I think that's the right decision. So, what do we have? We have the opportunity to cast a new M, and I personally believe, and this is what you've all been waiting for through this video to hear, that the only suitable actor to take the character of M to a whole new level and back to the roots of Ian Fleming's James Bond and what Bernard Lee first established back in 1962 would be the casting of Daniel Day-Lewis as M.
What'd you say?
The Latin Mass.
I thought it was James Joyce. I won't say one.
Can you tell us what year it is, Christy?
I'm not that sophisticated.
Not yet.
I love you, Eileen.
And I love you, Christy.
No. I really love you.
Daniel Day-Lewis's performance in My Left Foot that came out in 1989 is arguably one of the greatest performances ever put to the screen, and it was awarded with a fantastic Oscar win. And not that an Oscar win is the defining thing of a great performance. It's a nice little carrot. However, I believe that Daniel's role in My Left Foot would have been one of the all-time greats regardless if he won the Oscar or not. Daniel's performance in Martin Scorsese's Gangs of New York is still to me one of the most intense, incredible and frightening performances I have ever seen in my life. And even though Leonardo DiCaprio was fantastic in that film, the rage, the hype and all the talk was about Daniel Day-Lewis, this man being an incredibly committed method actor. The lengths he goes to are probably unparalleled. However, we have had great method actors like Robert De Niro, and we have great contemporary method actors like Tom Hardy and Christian Bale. But I think the latter two of contemporary age, Christian Bale and Tom Hardy, would look at a method actor like Daniel Day-Lewis as the ultimate to live up to in terms of getting a performance right and absolute commitment to that performance.
Stop crying, you sniveling ass! Stop your nonsense. You're just the afterbirth, Eli.
No.
Slithered out on your mother's filth. No. They should have put you in a glass jar on the mantelpiece. Where were you when Paul was suckling at his mother's teat? Where were you? Who was nursing you, poor Eli? One of Bandit's sows? That land has been had. Nothing you can do about it. It's gone. It's had.
If you would just take this lease, Daniel.
Drainage! Drainage, Eli, you boy.
And what I believe that Daniel Day-Lewis could do with the role of M. One take on this could be that he really goes back to the original Bernard Lee performance and he emulates that. Now, he's not a very portly guy, he's quite thin, he's quite lean. In fact, to me, Daniel Day-Lewis has an incredible resemblance to Timothy Dalton. And a lot of people think Timothy Dalton, myself included, could be a fantastic M. People can be right when they say that having Timothy Dalton play M could be too distracting. So what could be better than an actor who has the same incredible talent and a method actor like Daniel Day-Lewis to take on the role of M? And I think that Daniel Day-Lewis could really inhabit Bernard Lee's M from the original films. Daniel Day-Lewis could transform and literally become like the second coming of Bernard Lee by putting on weight, changing his stance and getting into those method actor skills. So I think this is really on Eon Productions to look at this incredible method actor to play M. What they have up their sleeve is the fact they can pitch to Daniel that this is not going to be long filming shoots, that this is going to be an established character, but a character that he can build either from past performances that he admires or Ian Fleming's M. Miles Meservey from the novels. And I think he could do incredible things with that. But the appeal here is You're not coming out of full-on retirement, Daniel, but you're coming out for a few days every 2 or 3 or 4 years to play an iconic role that you can put your stamp on. And I don't think there's another actor that they should really chase in this way, because M needs to have gravitas and a fatherly-like quality, and also a believability that he was once a secret agent out there in the field. I believe that M should always be played by a male. Now that's not being sexist or anything like that. It made sense for Judi Dench to play M back in 1995's Goldeneye, because at the time the current M was a female in real life. However, I think the great thing about M being a male is having that father quality, that bonding quality that James Bond can connect with. And also, the bulk of the James Bond audiences are males, and we can relate to that too. So you're appealing to the character of James Bond, and you're appealing to the audience that mainly follows James Bond films. Now, some people have stated Michael Caine could play M. Michael Caine is way too old. It's not going to happen. He may not even be alive by the time they film the next James Bond film, or he's probably not going to be alive for a film after. But Daniel Day-Lewis is 65 years young and still got plenty of years left in him yet.